So here's the second part of David Miller's 190 SL, and before we have a look in the engine bay, I just thought we'd have a better look at the interior now that the roof is off, because it's much easier to manoeuvre around. These seats are just in beautiful condition. Exceptional work on there. A lot of guys in the club know John Pisani and his work. He's been mentioned in other videos before this one today. And I guess that's the original Becker radio, because...
No, that's an Astor radio.
Oh, I beg your pardon.
It's the very earliest of the valveless radios.
Oh, okay.
The cars did not come fitted with radios, mirrors, and even batteries.
Now, I always like to mention what's on the clock. This says 20,736. That's marvellous, isn't it?
Yeah, that's 200 before that.
Righto.
Miles.
Fair enough.
It's the original colour. It's only ever been painted this once in 2008. And the dashboard was not repainted. It was unmarked, so I had looked after it. The car was never accident damaged. I must have been a very careful driver, and
I mean, it's beautifully simplistic, almost, isn't it? You've got the door pull, which actually acts as a glove box cum map holder.
John Pisani was able to exactly match the trim because of this car having still had the original trim on it. I donated the original trim to John for his expert work in other trim jobs for 190 SLs.
Is this the only wheel configuration they came in, hubcap wise?
Yeah, they only came with 13-inch wheels. That's the 13s, and that's the original dress rims, or beauty rings as the Americans call them. They're the original hubcaps. I lost one hubcap and one dress rim many moons ago.
Wow.
But they are, the four on the car are the originals.
So these are nearly 60 years old?
Yeah, never been re-chromed, original chrome.
That's staggering. I mean, that's mirror finish. No chips, no scratches on those. That's incredible.
Well, they've been repainted, of course.
Sure.
With the paint.
But just in marvellous condition.
Actually, during the repaint, Axel Oil Race didn't paint the hubcaps. I painted those with my son here. What a hell of a job it was masking up the chrome.
Yes, I bet. All right. And what motor configurations did they come in?
Only 190 SLs come with the same engine that was fitted to the 190B sedans.
Let's open the bonnet then and have a look, please. Well, I'm amazed at the brilliant condition of some of the engine bays that we get to see.
Well, this is the original engine, as mentioned previously. It's only ever been rebuilt the once. However, the biggest problem with 190 SLs was those Solvex progressive carburetors.
Indeed.
In 1964, my carburetors cracked across the die-cast flange. Mercedes-Benz could not supply new carburetors nor new bodies for the carburetors, and the time frame to do it was quoted anything over a year. With advice I got at the time, I sourced these 42 DCOE 8 Weber carburetors from Warneford's in Woolloomooloo, and they bolted straight on, and a friend of the family made up these adapter plates, and we put the car back on the road in a whole weekend. No problems. There's a little bit of an adjustment had to be made to the fuel line, and a mate's dad silver soldered the banjo fittings on. It's never been touched since, and in that time it's done 200,000 miles.
Wow. So they would be somewhat reliable.
The Webbers are very reliable, no problems whatsoever. When I had the cylinder head off about 5 or 6 years ago, I gave them a little bit of a tidy up, and there's no wear in them. They all went back on the car, and no problems since.
Now, I've seen this car down in Canberra, and so you do get to drive a bit.
I'm getting a little bit old for too much driving, and there's too much traffic. These cars are not a good driver in today's heavy traffic. I did take it down to Canberra several years back, but other than that, it really doesn't do many miles any longer.
But did this used to go to the racetrack?
Oh, this car was used, not driven by me, but it was used at Oran Park in the early 60s as the pace car for the rolling starts at the time. Some of the race cars, of course, were very, very much faster than the 190 SL could be, but at any rate, that was my involvement in motorsport, or started my involvement in motorsport. I did run the car in many car club events at Oran Park and at Amaroo Park hill climbs, and at Lithgow Hill Climb back in the 60s, early 70s. I gave that up. Fortunately, I never blew anything up or crashed anything, so...
Yeah, good to hear. And it's quite a famous car too, isn't it? Because it's on the front cover of a map book, isn't that right?
Yeah, that's another story. When the car was in a very early year or two that I had the car at AMI, who were the distributors for the car in those days, in William Street in the city. They asked if they could borrow the car for a photo shoot. And I said, no worry. I had no idea what it was for. And some months later, the Gregory's Street Directory came out with a car on the front cover with an advertisement for Ampol, petroleum Ampol petrol. The same picture also appeared on the annual report of Ampol. Interestingly, Ampol's been a long gone name until recent weeks, and they've announced the rebirth of the Ampol brand name in Australia.
Wow. So anyway, you had your 15 minutes of fame.
Well, I didn't. I wasn't in the car.
All right. Yeah, but it's all about the car, David. It's all about the car.
In the car on that day.
Well, it looks very sweet with the roof down, and congratulations on owning such a wonderful car. It's had a great history, and thanks very much for your time, David. I appreciate it.
No worry, anytime.